There's supposed to be a record store here at Reggie's. It has moved. Oh, man. It looks like it's perfect for a record store. Okay, there's supposed to be a record store here, according to my app, but guess what? It moved 2 years ago. Talk about slow, huh? Stacks. But you could see where it used to be. Actually, they have live music here. It used to be called compact disc tapes. Pretty cool stuff, though. Isn't that neat? No records for me. And welcome back. It's the early morning Sunday show. What else would be on at this time of day? A lot of people watch it at different times of day, which is fine. I'm just saying this show goes down best if you watch it right when you get up on Sunday morning. It feels better. It's like just something you do. You get up, you have coffee, and you watch the early morning Sunday show. It's like starting your week right. So cheers to you. Yeah, I haven't missed a Sunday. 200. I bet almost 220 Sundays in a row. It's been over 4 years, and I've never missed a Sunday. So one thing I like is being consistent. Okay. The opening was I was searching for a record store when I was in Chicago. Didn't find it, but wasn't that cool? I mean, that was crazy bonkers. That bar down below does a lot of live music, and in the back they had those buses where they take people to music things. Oh my God, that was just crazy cool. It wasn't that far from I walked there from where we were staying at, so very, very neat. I thought I was on vacation last week. I wasn't. I'm on vacation this week. The LPGA tournament's this week. I had to cancel last week's vacation, put it onto this week so I can go sit out on a golf course and watch the women's golf. And Annika Sorenstam, for those that golf, is going to be playing. I'm really excited to watch her golf, to see that. So really great. And George over in Scotland, I've been watching the Scottish Open because you're marshalling, and I haven't seen you on TV yet. I probably should have sent you a t-shirt. You just could have worn that out there. Just stick out a little bit more, but oh well. Yeah, played a couple games of golf this year, and I suck still. But my last time out, I found 12 balls. I only lost 3. I found 12. That is a great game of golf. Don't bother keeping score. It's how many balls do you find? And man, I was on a hot streak, so it was pretty damn exciting. So let's get get cracking right away, which is very odd for me. Cat's not here. Cat's really not doing well again. All this snot. We had to get, we set it up. He's going to have his teeth pulled, no doubt about it, but they can't get him in for a month. We had to get some more medication. Hasn't eaten in 3 days because so much snot. If he can't smell food, he won't eat it. He can see it. It's there. He wants it, but he can't smell it. He doesn't eat it. And so we're hoping this medication gets going, But, it's been 3 days, and he's thin. Real thin, and he wasn't a fat cat anyway, so he's outside right now. So, thoughts and prayers for Cat. Okay, all right, very good. We're going to begin today with a brand new album. This just came out, just released. This is from the UK Subs. Name of the album, Reverse Engineering. Here's the inside. That's the plastic because it seems to be the thing to do, I guess. I don't know. And the vinyl, it looks melted. If you look, can you see that? And when you look at it, it looks like it's actually been melted. It's actually pretty neat looking vinyl. And no special insert. So UK Subs, they formed in 1976, and they are still going. They were one of the very first English punk bands, and one of the very first hardcore punk bands. They started off as the Marauders in 75. They were a pub rock group. Then they went and they saw a couple punk rock shows, and they switched the music up, and they jumped into the punk scene very, very early. Their founder is Charlie Harper is his name. Charlie Harper. He's the founder of it. He's the lead singer of it, and he's still in it. And Vinyl Richie, I was discussing that. Hey, this came out. He told me that this Charlie Harper's like just a really good guy. He comes out after shows. He'll talk with the fans and things, and that's really neat when people do that. Very, very good. Well, in 1981, they had a lineup change again, and they brought in Elvin Gibbs, was his name? Elvin Gibbs? Yeah, Elvin Gibbs on bass. And they changed more into, brought in heavy metal. And they became a hardcore punk band. There's still a lot of elements to that. They've done 22 albums, and they have had hundreds of people in the lineup. You get a list of all the people that played in this thing. It goes on forever. It's like it's like reading Gone with the Wind. I mean, it's forever. It takes forever to look at them all. This is supposed to be their very last studio album that they're going to do, and this album is fierce. These are some very old punk guys. They're like in their 60s, at least two of them, Elvin Gibbs and Charlie Harper. And they put newer punk people to shame. This is incredible. It is just adrenaline fueled. It's slam dancing fun, crunching guitars, pounding drums, and just this incredible bass that keeps it going. Martin, I know you like to turn everything up and make it super fast. I mean, this thing is incredibly fast. It really, really great punk album. I don't have any UK subs, and they had and so too. This is my first UK subs, but I know of the group. I've seen them on compilations. I've never seen one of their albums. So this was exciting to get exciting new music, from a group that's been around for 1 billion years and 22 albums. So really good stuff. Then we're going to go speak of punk, post-punk. We have the group called The Fall. And I'm in my usual why buy one album when you can buy 3 albums. But I got these at Radio Wasteland. That's brand new. Radio Wasteland had that in too. But part of a punk collection again that I got Radio Wasteland. So The Fall formed in 1976 also. Big year, isn't that? Kind of funny, punk band, 76 is the time. And they went on till 2018 and formed out of Manchester. And I believe in 2018 is when Marky Smith died. He was their vocalist and founder. I believe that's correct. Doesn't mean it is, but in my mind it is. They are more post-punk. Their music, can be abrasive, it can be repetitive, it's guitar-driven with very caustic lyrics. They've done 32 studio albums, 32 of them. And John Peel loved this group, one of his favorites, and he really, really always backed them up. They had a what had happened is, you know, they had went and seen a Sex Pistols show. Marquis Smith, he fell in love with it and formed a band. How many bands were formed because of the Sex Pistols? You think of the Beatles, okay? When the Beatles started, oh my God, everyone wanted to form a band. Sex Pistols was the same thing, except that was the punk explosion, and they just showed that anybody could do this, man. Just grab a guitar. You don't have to play. You just have to make noise and just be, abusive, and away you can go. But many people really could play, really did a good job. So they had one. If you're on a punk compilation, you can usually find a fall song called "Bingo Masters Breakout." That's the popular one. But I got 3 albums. So the first albums are pretty tough, and they're very like one note almost. The singing is it's not easy listens. But in '83 we came out with this album, and this is Perverted by Language, and they began to change up their style. And there it is, the fall, Perverted by Language, the inner sleeve. Okay, this is a nice original. What brought about this change is they brought on a female by the name of Brix, and she was from California. Now this is from, again, they're from Manchester. But she was the girlfriend of Mark Smith. But she was more than just a girlfriend. She played the guitar. She sang vocals. She was a songwriter. And so she brought in kind of atonal melodism. I mean, she created, suddenly put in some pop hooks, added choruses, and began to change the band. And so this is the first one she's on, and it sounds, I mean, it really, it's a very, very nice listen. And you could see a band that is changing and, going in the right way. So this was really neat. I think this was their 5th or 6th album, and this was 1983. In '84, they came out with the wonderful, frightening world of the fall. And you see the label, and it is nothing on the inner sleeve. This album, again, was their 7th. What makes this really interesting is there's actually songs that are hummable. They've moved into where you could actually hum a tune that they do. You can't on a lot of these other ones, especially the early stuff. But on this, there's songs like 2x4 is one of them. And it's, it's a very nice song. I mean, it's really cool sounding. Creep is one, very, very hummable. A lot of it is more, I maybe labeled sinister rockabilly, you could say. Again, they're changing, but there is melody that's happening in here. They have one song, it's called Elves, the last song on side 1. They absolutely rip off the music of the Stooges, I Want to Be Your Dog. Dun, 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 boom, 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 boom. You have, I mean, it's just pure You Want to Be Your Dog going on underneath with a whole new lyrics, and I love that song. So it's all right. I'm okay with it. But oh my God, I don't know. Maybe the Stooges say, hey, that's fine. We don't care. But really, really great album. Both of these are when you look at a fall rankings, extremely well thought of albums. But their masterpiece, this is considered their masterpiece, The Saving Grace. This nation's saving grace. This nation's saving grace. This is not an original. This came out in the late 80s. I remember I bought this album back in the probably early 90s because I knew of the fall and I wanted to get something from them. And because it was, you know, in my punk books, and hey, the fall is really good. So I saw this album used and I bought it. And I played it once and I put it away and never played it again. I thought it sucked. It wasn't what I was expecting. This isn't punk. I'm sure it's post-punk. What is it? And it didn't appeal to me whatsoever. So then after the flood, I didn't think twice about when I tossed it. Well, I brought this back in and I put it on again. I gave it another shot. And I loved it. And that just goes to show how we change, how what we hear changes over time, and stuff that we say sucks from 20, 30 years ago. You got to give it a listen. Now, Captain Beefheart, I'm sorry. I still think it sucks. I do. I like Mother's Milk, but the Trout Mask replica, I tried it. Didn't even bring it back into the collection. I had a couple copies of it. But Nation Saving Grace came out in 85. This is their 8th album. This album was on the edge of mainstream. On the reissue, I'm going to play a sample of this. They have Cruiser's Creek. And it's just a wonderful sounding song. There is a heavier wall of sound in here. The drums and the bass propel this thing forward. Really good stuff. Totally enjoyed this album. Glad I got this in these 3 fall albums. Would I get all the fall albums? No, I would not. Those 3 I'm super happy to have. There might be something else that's really great. You guys can tell me.
To my hair, I need you right a coup, grab the edge of my coat, said you're too smart for hair, said I'll see the manager. He was the manager. Eat yourself better. Up the stairs, mister. Eat yourself better.
Brand new album came out. A couple new albums, huh? That's UK subs. And this is Max Richter, classic composer. I've talked about many times. This is the new Four Seasons from Vivaldi recomposed. The Four Seasons is the most famous piece of music in Western culture. It is used more than anything else. There are so many people that have used pieces, excerpts of it from their weddings. It is everywhere. And so Max Richter, wanted to take it and make it into something special. So he recomposed it. Got a little book here, poster. That's a poster to put on your wall. Ooh, yeah. A little bit about him. Richter, born in Germany, but actually raised in England, is back there, and this is off a Deutsche Grammophon. So in 2012, though, he did this. Max Richter, Vivaldi, recomposed. What the hell? 10 years later, we did this because he wanted to revisit this. When he did this album, it was basically, he took like 75% of the Four Seasons, tossed it out. He took what he liked and he began using looping techniques and putting that in there and really recomposed and did something different. Well, with this, he comes back in and he changes it up. Now on this, he uses period instruments. When I say that, it's the old, what Vivaldi would have used. They're using gut strings and vintage analog synthesizers. Now, Vivaldi did not use a synthesizer. Just want to clarify that. Okay, he did not. But Richter goes back and uses the analog stuff. So it sounds extremely similar to the 2012. Minor differences. Basically, this has a brighter sound. It's faster pace and less serene than the other one. But Four Seasons is extremely emotional music. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. The original from Vivaldi is great. I do love what Richter's done with it, and I find it's a totally enjoyable listen. So very similar, but I love that piece of music, and it's Richter. BLO. This is phase 2. BLO. No, we're not talking Bachman Lucy Overdrive, Bachman Larry Overdrive. No, we are talking, what is it? Berkeley, Lau, Automusik. Those are the three guys. This is a, where were they from? Nigeria. This is a Nigerian psych funk band. And there you can see the band members right there. And there is a lyric sheet. And that helps so you can sing along for those that's what you like to do. And the album is on that. I've already showed that though. So this is a three-piece psych funk band out of Nigeria. Formed in 72, broke up in 82. Ginger Baker actually worked with them before they formed BLO. Ginger Baker was down there and he was working on a jazz rock project called Salt, and he used these three members. Well, they went out and they formed a group. Their first album is called Chapter 1. Chapter 1 is really very psych-like, extremely with just the fuzzy guitars and everything. I'd like to find a copy of that. This is their second one, phase 2. On here, they put in more funk and R&B, but the guitars still are crazy good. This was just such a wonderful listen. This came out in 1974, before really Zamrock absolutely blew apart, but it easily falls within that category, though this is coming out of Nigeria. Their next albums after this, though, they changed because times were changing. This type of music was not being listened to. People wanted disco. Not John Travolta disco, just disco. Stuff you play in the clubs, stuff you dance to. And so everything changed that way. They changed too. But Chapter 1 and Phase 2 are definitely, if you see it, well worth getting. If you really like that African rock that I seem to show every week. We have this. This was something I found in Chicago at Pinwheel Records. This is the very first Los Lobos album, Del Este de Los Angelinos, which, how did that translate? That translates to the Wolves of East LA. I do work Spanish every night. And this came, you can't see it. Probably when you play the sample, you're going to see it's really warped. And I'd shown this once before on my finds in Chicago. And the owner of Pinwheel Records saw it. He just saw it. And so because if someone came into his shop that watches my shows, says, hey, Steve did a thing on your thing. And I talked with him. I said I was going to do it. And I went and emailed him. He must not have seen my email. And he reached out and said, hey, I'm going to try and get your replacement for that Warped album. I thought that was great. This one here is autographed by Cicerosa. There it is. So that is really, really neat. I like that. This is their first album. David Hidalgo and Luis Perez, they met in high school. They had this love of Cooder, Randy Newman, and Fairport Convention. 1975, they met Cicerosa. He joined the band also. They formed Los Lobos. This album came out, I believe, originally in 1978, and this is just Mexican folk tunes. It was music that they grew up with and they put down, and so they did their kind of their own interpretation, but it really is more straightforward Mexican folk. But really, this is something I've been wanting for many, many years. I'm a huge Los Lobos fan, and to be able to find this in Chicago, this repress, and get it autographed, very awesome. And yeah, if I can get one that doesn't warp, because I can't play the first song on side 1 or side 2, but the rest of it plays really, really good. Los Lobos, super cool. Quick on this one, Howlin' Wolf Evil, and it's a Howlin' Wolf album, very nice. This is kind of a rip-off, in all honesty, and the reason why I say that is in 1959 he did Moaning in the Midnight. That's the one with the wolf on the cover howling. In 69 to 77, Chess changed that cover to this and called it Evil. So people might already own Moaning in the Midnight, but guess what? Oh, new Howlin' Wolf, so they buy this. They changed the tracks, so they changed how the songs, the track listing is different, but it's exact same damn album. That BS, but that's how you do it. You know what? Yeah. It's more money. They're just trying to get, because Howlin' Wolf's becoming popular. What should we do? A lot of people have this one album, Moaning in the Midnight, so let's give them Evil. And that was evil. That was very evil of them, but there it is. Final one, just a live one I got in, Talking Heads here, and live, and July 14th, 1982. Got this out of Radio Wasteland. Just fun stuff. This was before they took off with Burning Down the House. But there is 2 songs in there, Big Blue Plymouth, My Big Hands, that I'd never seen on anything else. And so that's what caught my attention. 2 songs I'd never heard of. And I adore this group, especially the earlier Talking Heads. So the bass is very heavy on this. You can hear Tina Weymouth over anything. So the mixing's kind of so-so, but Burns' voice sounds good. So happy to have it. And that's it. Okay, we wrapped it up, and thank you very much. I will have a midweek. Maybe I'll do it right from the golf course. I'll bring my records out there, and I'll interview the players and say, what's your favorite album? Maybe we'll do that. Okay, we'll see. But appreciate you dropping by, and let's hope Cat gets better. Everyone, see you later. Bye.